Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back to Wall Street Silver. Our guest today is my good friend Rafi Farber from the Endgame Investor. Welcome back, Rafi.
Thanks for having me again, Ivan. Good to be back.
Yeah, it's great to have you back on Wall Street Silver. I wanted to get you on. It's the start of the year 2025, and the silver and gold market is at a very exciting place to be right now. A lot of people are talking online about where we're going for the rest of the year. Where do you think we're going for silver and gold for 2025?
It's exciting in the sense that gold is at or near all-time highs. Silver not. But in rather than focus on the dollar amount, I think the real question is like how are gold and silver going to perform relative to stocks, relative to the things that people have in their portfolios? Because really no one's going to care what the price of gold and silver are if their stock portfolio keeps going up even faster than gold and silver do. Why would you need gold and silver if your net value keeps rising and rising, and the number that you see when you log into your brokerage account on Interactive Brokers or TD Ameritrade or whatever, the number keeps going higher, so you're fine.
Right.
You don't need anything. The question is when is gold and silver going to really start outperforming these stock portfolios? And I think that's going to be this year. I mean, the bottom in terms of silver already came in September 2022. It's been edging up since then. And gold relative to the S&P has been stuck in a trading range for 9 years. But if you look at a chart of these ratios, when it starts to move fast. And then I think it was from 2000 to 2011, right? I forgot the numbers. I was looking at the chart today, but gold severely outperformed stocks, right?
Right.
Even though stocks were going much higher pretty fast, gold was outpacing them. I think gold went up by a factor of 8 or 9 times, and stocks maybe two or three. So that's when it still, even though gold is at relatively near all-time highs, most people don't own any, and they're not. Most people aren't going to own any until they already realize that it's too late, that their stock portfolios aren't worth, they're not going to buy them anything, and they can't really cash out for anything that's worth any real asset. So they'll all
Absolutely.
pile into gold and silver at the same time, and that's what we don't want to do. So I think it's going to happen this year after the next dollar panic. I think within the next quarter or two.
What do you think will cause this dollar panic? A lot of people are saying like it could be the repo market, it could be the commercial real estate. Like there was some numbers that came in a few years ago. The Hilton in New York was worth like 1.5 billion, and this year it's on a fire sale for like 500 million. Like, is it commercial real estate? Is it the repo market? Is it just the overall debt in the U.S.? What do you see happening?
Well, the overall debt in the U.S. is just a function of the money supply. People forget our monetary system is a debt system. So debt is money, meaning if you want to keep the system going, you have to increase the debt. If the debt doesn't increase fast enough, then you have a hyperinflation problem. And if the money increases faster than the debt, you have a hyperinflation problem. If the debt increases faster than the money, you have a debt crisis and then a deflation.
There's about $15 trillion worth of physical gold in the world sitting there costing money rather than being used. Is just absolutely insane. Monetary Metals is bringing gold back into the financial world, putting gold to productive use right now. The problem with gold, of course, in physical form is that it's heavy, it's cumbersome, it's not particularly easy to ship, and it costs money to store in a protected manner. This platform Monetary Metals created is a proven concept and allows gold to be put to productive use. So instead of sitting there costing you money, it's actually in use earning you money.
Learn how you can earn 2 to 5% in our leasing program and how accredited investors can earn up to 12% on silver paid in silver. This advertisement is not investment or financial advice. Minimum investment applies.
Right.
The challenge is always to keep them in the same rate of expansion, and then you keep the fiat system relatively stable until somebody brings it out of whack because for some problem or other, it could be commercial real estate or repo or all the things that, we track. I don't know what's going to be the first domino to fall, but there's going to be a domino. It's usually something that nobody's looking at.
Right.
And then that thing that nobody was thinking about causes something that everyone else was always looking at to finally fall. But, give me a list of people who were able to to spot the proximate cause of any given crisis. No, nobody can do it.
No.
People can see, but people can see dominoes along the way, and they bet on this one falling, but they don't know where in the stack it is. So, I know repo is in the stack. That's the bottom of the monetary sewers. $2.5 trillion is traded there every night. So,
Right.
this is this is one of the biggest markets in the world, and something is going to go wrong there. Something's going to go wrong in the commercial real estate market because you have all these securities that are worth almost nothing now, and they're going to tip over some other portfolio and some other group of assets. And look, there are ducks in a row. We just don't know
Yeah.
what's going to get shot first. I think it's going to be the repo market. Am
Yeah,
I
same.
wrong? I'm probably going to be wrong, but repo's going to fall anyway. So what do I care?
Yeah, absolutely. And if there's someone new watching me and you right now in the silver and gold market who's, worried about their purchasing power and worried about even their stock portfolio going down, what would you say to a new silver and gold investor? Would you tell them just get into physical? Would you tell them to get into the mining sector? What would you tell them?
Um, First thing is that you want to calm down, and there's nothing more calming. Well, there are more things. There are things that are more calming, but you know, just having a bag of junk silver is calming if you are freaking out about the monetary situation. Just to have it and to hold it and it's heavy and it's shiny, and we know it's been money for thousands of years. So just get a bag of that. A few $1,000s worth in today's prices, just to calm yourself down. And you don't have to go all into silver, all into gold. You don't have to sell all your Bitcoin if you've made some money in Bitcoin, but just have some amount of gold and silver after physical. You can buy ETFs if you want to do that. It's less recommended, but it's not going to hurt.
Right.
After you have your physical, then I think that mining stocks are actually safer than gold or silver ETFs because mining stocks are titles to an actual company, whereas a gold ETF, they could just take the gold or silver and then you have nothing.
Right.
Nationalizing a company is much harder to do. So if you want to experiment or speculate a little bit more, then you can buy gold mining ETFs. Those have been doing so horribly for so many years
Yeah.
that they're so cheap, especially relative to gold and silver. You can just, put 1 or 2% of them in your portfolio. You don't have to sell so much. Just have enough that you're not freaking out about what happens if the SHDF just to calm yourself down.
Yeah. And what would you say, I guess, for many, many years since even I've gotten to the silver market, back like in 2020, 2021, people have been talking about the manipulation in the silver prices and the gold prices. Can you speak to that? Do you believe there is manipulation? Do you believe that it's holding down the price of silver? And yeah, what's the way out?
Well, yeah, there's manipulation, but I don't really care about it so much. It doesn't really bother me.
Right.
The reason I'm saying that is, look, if there's manipulation, let's say in tomatoes, right, then you would see if the price of tomatoes is being held down, then what you would see is a shortage of tomatoes at the grocery store. You wouldn't be able to buy tomatoes because the price is too low, and then people buy more than is available, and the number of buyers don't equal the number of sellers, and then you have a tomato shortage.
Right.
You can see that when they have even a sale on tomatoes. Like tomatoes are like whatever 50 cents a pound today. And there's a limit to like 5 pounds per customer, but that means a shortage. So with any commodity that they try to hold the price down, it's very obvious what they're doing because you see a shortage.
Right.
But why isn't that the same? There's no shortage in gold or silver. If you want to buy gold, you can do it. If you want to buy silver, you just, call up a retail and buy it.
Hmm.
You can go to a coin shop, you can buy it. There's no shortage of gold and silver. But that's because the gold and silver are money. There's a money price and there's a commodity price, right?
Right.
The tomatoes, you can do one thing with them. You can eat them. With silver you can either consume it, like, put it in a solar panel or whatever consumes silver. even if it's not really consuming. Let's just call it consumption or using it in some other thing. There's also the monetary price. There's the monetary price, and that's what's being manipulated. The monetary price is assume the dollar doesn't work, assume all currencies are dead, and everybody needs silver to survive because they need some kind of money to divide labor with, right? So then everybody needs silver at the same time. What is the exchange rate for that? That's
Right.
what's being manipulated. But that manipulation all goes at once when the dollar finally does die. And so, yeah, it's being manipulated. Why? Because the dollar exists. The dollar is the manipulation. The futures market is the mechanism by which they keep the dollar alive by keeping the dollar exchange rate with silver monetarily at the commodity consumption level. Right? The silver price that you see is the price of silver as a commodity. At that price, the of $30 an ounce, there's enough silver for all the industry for people who use silver. But
Absolutely.
what's the monetary price if everybody needs a coin?
Yeah.
That we don't know.
Could
But
be $100, could be
that's what
200.
has to be revealed. It could be $1,000 at this point.
Yeah. Hello, my fellow silver and gold stacker. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching the channel. Subscribe, please like the video, and also hit the notification bell. Keep stacking.
We don't know, but we'll find that out, and we'll find that out very quickly once the currency regime dies, and then the manipulation will be over by itself.
Yeah, absolutely. You absolutely nailed it, Rafi. And a lot of people are talking about like even Elon is saying like to power all of the US with solar panels, that will take a ridiculous amount of silver. And as we see this, green revolution come where everyone is moving more towards green energy, you need more and more silver for all of these things. What happens or like when you hit that shortage, when you're only mining 850 million ounces a year, and the consumption exceeds that. What year is that? Do you think it'll happen in the next 5, 10, 15 years? And how does that affect the precious metals market?
I think that the sudden realization that everybody needs silver when the dollar no longer functions,
Right.
that demand by everybody, by the entire planet, is much bigger than the solar panel industry. And I think the end game is going to happen way before everybody adopts solar panels on their roof to a point that would push silver significantly higher just because of that. I don't know
Right.
what the dynamics are per solar panel and how much silver you're gonna need. There's gonna be a shortage problem, but even before we hit any of that, we're gonna hit the end game and we're gonna see the dollar silver exchange rate go to a number that would cover everyone's demand for silver when their currencies no longer function. And then after that, once silver calms down again and we rebuild another monetary system based on gold and silver, then we can start worrying about solar panels and what they're going to do to the silver price.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look historically at every empire. You look at the Chinese Empire, lasted around 200 years. You look at the British Empire, lasted around 200 years. Now, US is coming up on that 200-year mark. Do you think they can just, if the US dollar does die and there's a massive collapse, do you think they'll roll out like cryptos, or do you think they'll try to get everyone on a digital currency where, it would try to keep people away from gold and silver? Like, yeah, what do you think happens there?
If the dollar does collapse, and it will, once
Hmm.
that happens, then who's they? What are they? What with what power are they going to do anything? Because their big power is the fact that they can control the dollar and they can take dollars and buy things and buy guns and buy tanks and buy thugs to enforce the law. But
Yeah.
once none of that works, they've got nothing. I mean, they have whatever they have, but so does everybody else.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be pretty. They're not going to be able to enforce anything. So then at that point, everything goes back to it's a reset, but it's a reset on the public's terms. And then you just got to hope that the public has enough sense to it, and enough local leaders that we don't descend into chaos. And I think, especially with I've seen humanity go from completely insane to slowly coming out of a stupor, especially from 2021 to now. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
that everyone's normal now, but I think people are a lot more normal than they were 4 years ago. And I think we're going in the right direction. I just hope that by the time the dollar does collapse, there's enough sanity in the world to so that we all kind of huddle together and say, look, we got a big thing problem here. We got to deal with this level-headed and coolly, and hopefully that's what's going to happen. And I,
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to have any power to institute a crypto system, which would just be another layer in a pyramid that already collapsed.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what do you think about the new administration? Do you think that Trump can reduce government spending, and how will that look like?
You can, it's possible.
Right.
But I don't think that solves anything because, again, we're in a debt equals money system. So in that system, the money supply always needs to expand at an exponential rate or the banks collapse.
Yeah.
That's how a fiat money system works, where debt is money. So yeah, so then the question is what happens if Trump and the Doge and Musk, what if they actually do cut government spending so that they balance the budget? Let's say they balance the budget or
Right.
something. Then what happens? Well, then you have less debt, and if you have less debt, you have the money supply slowing down. If the money supply slows down, the existing debt can't be paid back, and then you have a banking crisis. The question is, if there's a major banking crisis and banks start to fall, and then they say that they call up Trump and they say, look, you gotta let the Fed loose and let them print money, or however the authority works. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is Trump going to stop that? No, he's going to say save the banks like every other president. If
Right.
Trump really wants to save the system, he's got to embrace the deflationary chaos that will come with a spending cut. But he won't because nobody will. We're just
Hmm.
gonna. It's just. It's. I'm not blaming him. I don't expect him to do that. But that would be nice to finally have the deflationary collapse. We're either going to go for a deflationary collapse or a hyperinflationary collapse. I think it's going to be the latter. But either way, all the power, all the purchasing power, in whichever direction you go, always ends up in gold and silver at the end.
Yeah, you absolutely nailed it, Rafi. Now, where can people, before you go, where can people connect with you?
Yeah, check out my Substack at Endgame Investor. It's on Substack. You can also check out my YouTube channel, Rafi Farber. And you can join me on Patreon, the patreon.com/endgame investor, where I give a religious angle on these topics for people that are interested in those sorts of spiritual thoughts on money.
You know what, Rafi? It's such a huge pleasure having you come down to Wall Street Silver. I'm going to put the links in the description below for you. So everyone watching, please check out Rafi, check out his YouTube channel, check out the Endgame Investor and his Patreon. But yeah, thank you so much, Rafi, for coming down to Wall Street Silver.
Okay, Ram Shatava.
Yeah, sounds good. Talk to you soon.